Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Humankind, where I was just crawling around in the menus here, messing with some stuff, speeding up the combat animations a little, and I saw this list, and I realized I didn't actually talk about how the game ends. I talked about what happens when the game ends, that is, the player with the highest fame score is the winner, but these are the conditions under which that fame score check occurs. So the game ends when we reach the end of 300 turns on normal game speed. This was the only end condition in any of the previous beta phases, was just reaching a certain turn value. But in the full game, additionally, the game will end if somebody gets every contemporary era star, and keep in mind, they are not necessarily the winner at that time. The person with the most fame becomes the winner, and depending on how many stars they picked up in earlier eras, it totally might not be them, right? When someone completes the technology tree fully, when obviously there's only one empire left, pretty easy to tell who's going to win in that case. When somebody sends a mission to Mars, this is something I know nothing about. I'll be very curious to see this as we creep into the later phases of this game. And then also, if the world is rendered unfit for human life. I don't know everything about this, but I do know that there is a system for tracking pollution, and pollution, wide global scale pollution, can certainly have some very serious consequences for habitability. So my assumption is that when this one happens, everybody loses. Probably then the person with the highest fame score winning. I guess we'll find out. Well, no, hopefully we won't find out. So we're building out to cover all this space. We're securing an awful lot of room for our empire to expand into in a sort of an unchallenged way. Notice here that somehow the pink player is way ahead of us on opinion with these independent people. I don't exactly know how that happened. We've not met the pink player. I wonder if they're playing a civilization that has some kind of like, you automatically know all independent people kind of thing, an independent people focused civilization. So it's hard to tell exactly what they're gaining every turn. We have a little representation of it here, but obviously we don't get the number. It looks to me like it's probably more than +3 per turn, given that this much gain is +3 per turn. So we're going to have to dial up our gains here. Fortunately, we have a couple of different ways we can do that. We can praise these independent people by spending influence on them, and that'll increase the gain over time. Or we can bribe them, and it works kind of the same way. Every time you click the button, the cost will go up. But it doesn't just give you a flat gain immediately, it increases your rate of gain. So a small amount of resources put into this turns out to be a lot of extra value. I think obviously we're saving our influence, we have a lot of things we want to do with it, but let's just give them as much money as we're allowed. Okay, that got expensive pretty quickly, but it's pretty obvious that +7 per turn is a faster rate of gain than whatever Pink's doing, so hopefully we'll overtake them. And you can see this, their sort of opinionometer here is broken into a bunch of different quanta. We need to get north of 90 in order to be able to assimilate them, and then we'll see a cost that is probably not actually going to be this low. But I think the cost to assimilate is based on global proximity to some degree, on your proximity to their ideology. So it might actually end up being very, very cheap for us because we are an aesthetic civilization. Or an aesthetic culture, rather. So yeah, we'll let that gain over time, and in the meantime, what are we going to do about this? We have a culture issue over here, right? We bought ourselves a little bit of time. I mean, what we need is just more sources of influence pressure, right? Maybe we should found another city right here, because it's the main plaza building in the capital is what's producing all of the influence pressure for us right now, and a new city will also have a main plaza. So, were we to settle in this region, we have some mountains down here. We have a couple of tiles that are actually highly productive. Actually, quite a few tiles have like 3 or 4 points of resources on them. This as a settling position is not bad at all. It does not have a lot of industry. But yeah, I kind of think we want to...
Come over here.
How expensive is that going to be? Okay, yeah, we can afford that. And you know, +9 industry is not so bad. Is that 2 turns? Yeah, okay, 2 turns. Not a big deal. Alright, so we'll found a city here that'll help provide additional influence pressure on Tianguan, and hopefully that'll be enough to keep it safe. And then I don't really know what to do with the rest of our military forces. I kind of want to just keep them in places where the other players can see them, so that it is known that we have military. Oh, also, you know, continuing to gather stuff is good. Obviously, our military units are pretty bad, overall. I don't necessarily think that they would, like, stand up to a real attack by another player, but we can just make ourselves look like an unpleasant enough target to go to war with. So, what is next for the capital? We can build another Confucian school, because, yeah, we still have this space open. Oh, right, we have to build a district to make that happen. I think we should probably do so. We can build 1 Confucian school for district per territory, and remember, when we move up into the next era and change to a new culture, we will lose the ability to build these, so we really want to make sure we get all of them out quickly. So... Is it a maker's quarter right here? I know that that's sacrificing a bunch of food, but there's so much industry on all these tiles. -4 food, +7 industry. Like, it being a farmer's quarter does not necessarily feel right. Or it could just be something down here. We just run a maker's quarter there and gain the industry off of the mountain. You know, that's not awful, actually. I guess reaching out to here gets me 2 more food tiles, though. And it's a 3-point resource gain either way, right? We turn 4 food into 7 industry, or we just gain 3 food. Does this city already have the irrigation? Oh, no. Okay, so those tiles will have additional food on them. So yeah, in that case, we definitely want to make the farmer's quarter. Because once we have flood irrigation, it'll be another 4 resources on top of that. That's definitely the better play. Okay, and with that, I think we're good for the moment. Okay, we are converting people to Zhu polytheism, which obviously is valuable. The Nubians invested in my horse extractor. Wait a minute. I just finished the horse technology. Huh, but I did not have to build the extractor manually. Maybe that's how strategics work? You just get the thing immediately? Okay. Well, I'll take it. I'm certainly not going to complain about people giving me money. All right, everybody loves to give me money. So, where are we at now? I guess you, like I said, you're just kind of like hanging out near the border in a place where you're extremely visible. Probably the same deal here. Just like, hey, Green, did you know that I have a standing army? We don't see any more curiosities or anything. Yeah, all right. Just bring people back around. We'll show off at the Brown border too, just so that Brown also knows that we are ready for a thing, should things transpire. Okay, so what's next? It's still not super valuable for us to pick up wheel. You know what? Roads actually would be pretty good. We can't build our unique unit yet because we do not have a source of copper, nor do we have exploitation ability over copper, but roads do seem good. You know, writing is available, and it won't take us that long to get it. The market quarter, which generates money, of course. food markets that make market quarters more effective, and House of Scribes, which makes your researchers better. There is a competitive deed. Oh, that reminds me, we should talk about stars here. Give me a moment. There is a competitive deed, though, for developing writing, isn't there? I think I saw that. Movable typeface. Yes, okay. So for the first player to discover writing, we do get 50 points. Let's go ahead and do that. That seems like a fine place to go next. And then, yeah, we're going to talk about stars. So at the moment, we've earned a single era star because our population, we brought a lot of units forward into the second era, and then our food output has been quite a focus for us so far. We're not doing a great job on the stars that are actually valuable to us, which is a bummer. Something we're going to have to keep ramping up. Building a second city is definitely a big part of that. And remember, as far as the aesthete stars go, it does not hurt us to spend influence. We're not getting the stars by having a large amount of influence in the bank. We're getting the stars by having earned a large amount of influence in total since the beginning of the era. All right, so Megrez is finished, and what will it take to turn it into a proper city? 160. Well, we could do the aesthete thing. If we flip over to culture here. All right, so this region sadly does not border this one. Right? Where are the edges? Yeah. But Megrez borders 3 regions that are currently mine. Well, no, it really only borders 2 regions that are currently mine, right? Because, yeah, this one isn't. Although, we are now... because we control this region, we've given it another path. We've given the influence from the capital another path to get through, I guess. Either that or Green's influence was reduced somehow? I don't really know. Oh no, but we do have 3 regions that are... because the Acadian region is in our sphere of influence. So I think if we do a cultural blitz here... Nope, it only gave us 10 influence that time, too. I clearly do not understand how this works. Gain influence for each adjacent territory that is already in your sphere. So we got 10 total influence for 3 adjacent territories that were in our sphere. 2 of which we already owned. I feel like we got 10 influence when we did it with only 1 adjacent territory in our sphere before, but maybe I was wrong about that. Well, whatever. We'll keep firing the abilities. We will figure it out. Whenever you take on a new game, especially if it's a complicated game, there's a period of figuring out what the heck is going on. Slowly learning how all the pieces work. I think I'm just gonna have you chill out for right now. Yeah, we'll just station you there. Oh, you know what I didn't talk about? At least I think I didn't talk about it. Is the concept of the city cap. We only have so many people in our empire who are good at administrating cities. And so, for the moment, we can only efficiently run 2 cities. We can build cities beyond the city cap, but we will take a penalty to the influence production of those cities. So, if we're talking about making Megrez a city itself, and then also assimilating a COD, that's going to push us over the cap. We can get access to more points of city cap in the tech tree. Although it looks like there maybe aren't any in the first era. Yeah, here's one. And then also as a result of some civics decisions and stuff, so we can fix this. It's just going to take a little while. And I mean, whatever. If we end up running a little bit short, it's fine. So if we turn Megrez into a city, we can attach Tianguan to it. Although maybe it would be better to attach Tianguan to the capital because the capital has all of that free stability. Where are we actually at in the capital? 50, 100, and 28, it looks like. So actually, if we attach another region to the capital, it is going to dip below 100. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know what the right thing to do is. Let's stick with the plan of making Megrez a city, because it'll mean we have a nice tight grouping of like high influence areas to press out on everything around us. And we'll figure the rest out later. Oh, did the cultural conversion turn around? The Hittites are now producing additional pressure. Ah, this region, I think. Okay, this is still just... Well, it might be a city. We can't tell because we can't see it right now. Oh, no, it's definitely an outpost because it's got the lined border. Or maybe it wasn't actually an outpost yet before. Maybe they hadn't finished it. All right, well, when Megrez becomes a city, this problem will get solved, I think. Gosh, I hope so, because we don't really have... I don't have a very good idea what we're going to do if that doesn't do the job. Okay, no curiosity spawns up here. At some point, we do need to take over the other sources of our luxuries, because I believe only one city can benefit from each luxury. Oh, we have to take our first copy of the dyes. Man, we still have a lot of stuff to do. And slowly, the walls are beginning to close in around us. You know what? We never did secure that non-aggression pact, did we?
I'm listening.
I might want to do that. Let's see here. So their strength is rated as stronger than ours, but the only factor that we're given in that is that their war support is higher. I think we probably don't actually know if they have a better army than we do. It wouldn't be all that hard. But anyway, I apparently did secure that non-aggression pact at some point.
So
Do we have one with you? I do not. And you know, I might like one.
This arrangement would see both
Okay.
our empires prosper.
That was a little bit less exploitative than the other two. It would be really cool if nobody attacked me while I was desperately trying to set up all of this infrastructure. All right, our religion continues to spread. For the moment, it's going just fine. If we want it to overwhelm the religions of other people who are actually trying to have their religions be good, though, we're probably going to end up needing to actually build our holy sites. I don't know when we're going to find time for that, but it's a thing to think about. Okay, so we'll convert that city soon enough. Reaching into Brown's territory. They do have their own religion. They have Assyrians' polytheism, but it does not seem to be holding in the face of our proselytizers. All right, I don't know exactly how useful it's going to be to have everybody in the area following my religion. It is going to give us access to a lot of grievance creation in case we want to try to bully people, which could be useful. But aside from that, I don't really know what the benefit is. I guess we'll find out. Okay, yeah, Pink has not responded to our gains, and so we are about to overtake them, which is lovely. We just got to make sure that we get to 91 before they do. We're very close to that science star. We're getting pretty close to that builder star. In fact, we're going to start building toward it right now. All right, somebody else got sacred ground. Which one is that? We just totally shut the... oh, build a holy site first. Yeah, that's a lot of fame, actually. And the announcer, the narrator started to say something, and we shut him up real good. And I kind of wish I knew what it was that, that he was trying to tell us. It was probably like kind of important, right? All right, we can make our Confucian school here where it is just absolutely wonderful and amazing. Yeah, that is still a very large amount of science relative to the amounts of science people are putting out. And next turn we can get that going. And then like when we assimilate a cod, we can connect Tupi to that, and we can just have 3 cities that span over a bunch of different territories. That's a good way of locking up all this land early on before we can afford to make as many cities as we might like.
Debate and discussion are not the pastimes of the idle. Now, things that one generation learned can be passed to the next, via something more reliable than campfire stories.
People are discovering other... The Hittites feel differently about me.
You have something to say?
Their attitude has become pleasant. They love our new treaty. They love our ideological proximity, which may not actually be high, but it seems high because we're very good at disguising it. That is definitely a thing we have to consider when we move up to the next era. If we pick a non-aesthete culture, some things are going to change around us. We have to be ready for that change. So we're not allowed to move up into the second era text until we're actually in the second era. So let's go back and pick up some of this stuff. We do have some trees around. I mean, obviously being able to build ranged units is pretty nice. Roads are also nice. We actually have a pretty large territory here. And it's not all very easy to move through. Alright, so this turn we can start city number 2, which can have its own Confucian school, although, given the amount of industry we currently have, we probably want to build something else first. I mean, like, if I put down a maker's quarter, this is not great. All these tiles only have one industry, although they are stone fields, and there is a technology that makes stone field produce more industry than that. If we put down right here, I definitely don't want to put down near the mountains. Yeah, that's probably okay. And we're going to need the stone field tech, but we can pick that up when wheel is done. Yeah, maybe we get that before wheel. So where is that? That's masonry, right? Yeah, there we go. Masonry also gives us access to the ability to work our population to death. Probably not like a high priority. Here, let's move that to the back of the research queue. Okay. Where's the next? Oh, the next technology star is only 3 techs from now. We're going to get that very quickly. 1 district off of this, only 5 population off of that. That's coming down pretty fast. Still a lot of distance to go on the aesthete star, sadly. Now that we have multiple cities, we're going to be producing population even faster, effectively.
A pleasure to see you again.
An army of the Assyrians is trespassing in the capital. Interesting. I'm surprised that generates grievances, given that they picked an affinity that lets them trespass. I guess the game rules don't keep them out of our region, but they still potentially generate problems by doing so. Diplomatic crises. I am disinclined to push this, just because we don't really know anything about their military capabilities. It says their strength is comparable to ours. So if we demand that they redress this grievance, we can just sit on it for 10 turns, make the decision later. We can demand that they pay us off. If we do demand, it'll sit down here in our My Demands area and just generate war support every turn until they deal with it one way or the other. If they exceed and just give us the money, then it goes away, of course, and I believe our war support drops considerably. If they refuse, I believe it will just declare war. It will declare war on them immediately. Like we won't even get a choice. It'll just happen. Or no, you know what? It gives you a message that's like, hey, they're kind of calling your bluff. Do you want to declare, or do you want to admit that you were never going to do anything? So I'm not gonna push it. Let's just give them a break here. Or at least let's not decide to push it right now. We could push it later. The sins of the father. The birth of writing has permitted word of your great deeds to be recorded and disseminated among your people, but it has also allowed a person's debts to be tallied. Uh-oh. In the past, a person's debts died with them. Now they are inherited by their offspring. However, in the new city of Fenghao, the political leadership wishes to strike these debts from the record for anyone who makes the city their home. Yeah, that seems like a great deal. I would move to Fenghao. So, if we assent to this idea, Fenghao gains 2 population, will lose 100 wealth, but like, I would absolutely pay 100 money to gain 2 points of population. That increases liberty, which is, I don't even remember what that axis does. Ah, yes, this is how we get bonus influence out of our emblematic district. Well, I think we actually do want to push in that direction then. Okay, that seems like a real winner. If we deny it, those owed will be happy to hear that their interest-paying monies are still due and will get a little bit of prosperity for 10 turns, or, in the interest of fairness, only those with small debts will be given the right to settle. Now, we're definitely gonna assent. This is a great plan. It's good for everybody except, you know, the people who hold all the debts, and screw those people.
You should listen to this.
All right, the Hittites want to be able to buy access to our strategic resources as well. If we accept this, and they end up using our horses to build their military units, they'll be even less likely to want to declare war on us, because obviously declaring war will end the trade, and their horse units will, obviously they will not be able to build horse units anymore, so I accept. Let's get them nice and dependent on me, shall we? Also, they claimed territory on my border. That's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. We were not going to take this anyway, at this point. So, 64 influence to attach it there, or 24 to attach it here. Since we've built another, or we are building another Confucian school, our stability here is going to get pretty okay. We may in fact just want to attach Changguan to the capital. Okay, yeah, the founding of the new city has, in fact, generated so much influence pressure that we're going to push their sphere back quite a bit. We're also slowly converting some of the Nubian stuff. Okay, interesting. And this is still continuing apace. I guess for the moment, we're probably just holding our money. Buying this out is probably pretty reasonable, and I think we'll be able to do it next turn. I think that's what we'll do. Yeah, I definitely want to get this done so that we can get to work on the next thing. That was district number 6, and so it earns us some money. And like I said, let's get those Confucian schools up as quickly as possible so that they are not holding us back from moving up in eras. Also, hey, look, a thing spawned. Go get it. All right, grievances. What's going on? Who's doing what?
Come, relax. Let us speak honestly.
Okay, the Assyrians are walking around in my territory because technically they're allowed to do that by the game rules, and they have no respect for me. It's fine. It's not actually harming me in any way. It's just sort of like giving me leverage over them. But boy, I don't want to end up in a war. Because again, I don't want to spend any resources building troops. Then again, if we end up at war with them for legitimate reasons, and we win at all, it does tend to end with you getting an awful lot of money. You know what? I'm gonna demand redress here, at least a little bit. Let's try with 1. How dare you? This injury shall not go unpunished. Until my demands are accepted or withdrawn, all trade between our empires will be suspended, and borders will be closed, which obviously does not harm them at all, since they don't care about my border anyway.
Pay reparations, or face grave results.
Unpleasant as
Oh,
these demands
they
are,
immediately paid.
refusal would be a mistake.
Interesting. So,
We are very appreciative.
because they are triggering grievances, every time they trigger grievances, we gain a grievance of any kind. We gain 5 war support. And then they got some war support because we turned a grievance into a demand. So we're creating friction here. We could potentially do that again, and maybe they could even pay us off again. But doing so would create additional friction. It is also... It had temporarily stopped trade. We can trade again now that there is no longer an active demand. I see no reason to buy access to their papyrus, though. Am I remembering correctly? Is it the case that only one city can benefit from each resource? Yep, you can see Feng Hao is not getting the benefit of papyrus. So we should get more copies of papyrus, but we should do that by, building on our own sources. Well, now that we have 230 extra money, we can absolutely do that. And remember, building the district that exploits the luxury resource does also get you all of the resources that are actually on that tile. The Artisan's Quarter does exploit everything, so that's pretty handy. Yeah, let's definitely get access to these dyes as well. 2 copies, 1 for each city. And then, does Feng Hao have... No, there are no luxuries here. But there are luxuries in Tianguan. Yeah, we should really just link this with the capital, I think. Sorry, I want to click this button and then next turn. Okay, and then we can build over the silk as well. Yeah, man. We started in a place that has a lot of very compelling luxuries, I think. All right, more trespassing from Brown. We can see it happening. I'm not going to push it again. I think once was already enough to make me a little bit nervous. We don't want to be that antagonistic. A game of prophecy. With the Empire thriving, a new game hailing from a foreign land beguiles the population. Everywhere you go, the distinctive game board and pieces catching your eye. Insisting on a public demonstration, you play the game under instruction in your palace court. But the event has a sting in the tail. The game is reckoned to be a form of divination as well as entertainment, and also, somehow, it's a scorpion. Gasps could be heard as the game's prophecy became clear. You are fated to lose everything. What will you do? We will just buy the silence of every person who saw the game. That feels economically unfeasible, and it also does move one of our axes in the wrong direction. We can just let the people gossip, and they will see that the prophecy will be proven false, so the capital loses 5 stability for 10 turns. This is almost no penalty at all. Or we could listen to the divination and prepare for the worst, and superstition will impede our scientific progress for a little while. I'm gonna blow it off. We're gonna show the people that I am more powerful than any prophecy. So have good long-term effects. Because we really want to get that ideological slider over to the left. So, like I said, let's connect this. I think that's pretty safe to do. It was another 20 points of stability down. When we finish the Confucian School, we'll gain 10 back. So we'll be trending toward 93 at that point. And then each one of these gives 2 because of our legacy power. So we're fine. We'll be fine. Oh, except our population is not distributed in a sensible way at all here. I would love a little bit of focus. And in fact, if I move people off of food... Oh, never mind. I can only move one person over. Okay, if we move people off of food, we really do slow down the birth rate quite a lot. And you know what? It doesn't even actually change the build time of any of our stuff. All right, we'll leave it like this for right now. We're optimizing for the build time of the current build queue. Is your stuff also scattered all over? It totally is. Okay, well, food is negative here. That's probably unacceptable. Oh, we only have, right. When a city is first built, it does not have a lot of room to work on any particular resource. We got to get some districts and buildings up. Well, all right, we're working on it. What does it cost to buy this out? We could rush it right now. I think let's go ahead and do that. We have stuff to do here. So, irrigation, flood irrigation would be really powerful here. We have a lot of river tiles being exploited. And that's probably the next thing we should build in the capital. I mean, after we get all of the extractors up. So there's another agrarian star. Yep, build the extractors and people are immediately buying access to them. More trespassing from Brown. More trespassing from Brown. We can just see them doing it. They don't care at all how I feel about this. I am a little worried about them running through my territory and just putting up outposts behind us. We have a non-aggression pact with you, right?
This is a friendly discussion.
So with the non-aggression pact, I think I would not be allowed to burn down their outposts before they could turn them to cities. I may have done an unwise thing by committing to that pact. Well, we should probably be outposting the rest of these regions anyway. I guess that's a thing worth setting up. So let's figure out where else do we really want to put. I mean, an outpost here seems like a pretty high priority. That region has both of the strategic resources that we know about currently, and it has a great spot to build a Confucian school. So yeah, let's get one of our groups over here as quickly as possible. Oh, it looks like the effects of the bribe have worn off. I didn't realize that they did that. Well, you know what? I will give you $10 to get this, to get us over to 90 a little bit faster. I just want to make sure that we're still progressing faster than Pink is, and then we're definitely going to want to make sure we have the influence necessary to assimilate them the moment that becomes available. All right, people are starting to move up into Era 2. Interestingly, it was not Pink who did it, it was Blue. We're lagging a little bit behind on fame score at this point, but you know, a lot of players have a lot more stars than we do. I'm not going to stress about it too much. All right, they don't seem to be going any further. Oops, no, don't do that. Sorry, I was trying to deselect them. So we just got to do a quick visual scan of our regions for... Oh, hey, this is a resource that we don't even have any of yet. So you can build extractors in your unconnected outpost regions by just paying a certain amount of influence. Obviously, this is not how we want to be using our influence right now. Yeah, so we won't. So it's not going to be. Oh, hey, look at this. They built that holy site directly on my border. Like they're trying their best to inflict their faith upon us. How's that going? Well, it seems to have stopped stopped our growth into their lands at the very least. And the Hittites are starting to take back some control of their area as well. Yeah, probably a good idea to build that holy site. If only we didn't have 700,000 other things that need doing at all times. All right, another science star because we are extremely good at science, and they did it. They went and did exactly the thing that I was worried they were going to do. Well, you know, I am not necessarily opposed to treaty breaking. You are absolutely not allowed to fill in territory in my backyard. Although, we may not have to make that big of a deal of it, actually.
A thoughtful proposal.
Open borders from the Hittites. I just don't see how this benefits me. You know what would make it benefit me is if you paid me. But you see, if we open borders to them, it's going to be the same thing. They're going to run people through, and they're going to put outposts in behind us. I refuse.
I cannot in good conscience accept this proposal.
And they immediately forgave the grievance that generated, which is nice of them. You know what? As a show of good faith, I'm going to renounce this grievance.
Oh, it's nothing.
See, we're all friends here.
That's not how this plays out.
So, we can just exert a ton of cultural pressure over this area because they cannot generate enough culture to fight us off, with the city being out by itself, even if they do turn it into a city. And then once it is fully ours, we'll claim that those are culturally really our people, and that the Assyrian government is oppressing them with their gross Assyrian rule, and we'll demand that they cede the territory to us. And if they don't do that, then we're going to come to blows about it. And is that a good idea for me? I don't know. Hopefully we can defeat the Assyrians in a war. It's not actually a good plan otherwise. Yeah, see, like this. The Nubians are preventing the faithful of Athabine from practicing their faith freely. This is what happens when you religiously overwhelm an area that's owned by another player. So we could press this and demand that they give us that. I don't really see a good reason to do so. They're dependent on access to our resources. Boy, if I do this, they may just give it to us though, huh? They feel like they are weaker than we are. You know what, though? If we're thinking that we might want to exert some pressure on Brown over this thing, maybe what we do is we take Yellow's sort of weakened position and we manipulate it in a different way. I'm going to offer them an alliance. They're totally reliant on us. They need me to not go to war with them because it sounds like they think we could conquer them.
So, will this independent people be an
Okay.
ally or an enemy? A barrier or a blessing?
Our people will rejoice.
I think the narrator is... Why is he talking about independent people? Did we... we may have discovered a new independent people due to vision from their stuff. That's probably what's happening. Okay, so now that we are allied with the Nubians, our troops... hold on. I think if I mouse over the alliance button with somebody, I should have held over this for a second before clicking it. Our armies can regenerate and pay for repairs in each other's territories. We can buy access to each other's resources for cheaper, but the seller still gets all the normal money. Basically, we're just way better at cooperating. Now, if I threaten Brown, he has to be concerned that we have a secondary force right on his borders that would love to come over and show him what's what. Yeah, and allying with Yellow did, in fact, reveal to us a new independent people. I have no time for them. I certainly have no resources for them. So here we are at 90, and I can just assimilate them, and it does indeed cost a total of 10 influence to do so. I mean...
You have added an independent people to your empire. Will the whole be greater than the sum of its parts?
So notice, we basically didn't gain any influence input at all because we are over our city cap. The new city's influence output was like basically completely canceled out by that, which is a shame. But we'll get there. We'll figure it out. So that's going to make the culture effect on this area even worse. But you know, we also could just do this, right? Yeah, I'm totally going to. It's not very expensive to do it. Oh, interesting. I'm not allowed to... Okay, we can only do it on regions that are neutral or that I own. Does it say that in the tooltip? Yep, it sure does. One of your empire's territories. Okay, well, never mind. Cannot use that offensively. I guess that's fair. It would be a very powerful and annoying tool if you could. Okay, well, we'll just have to wait for it to overwhelm them the old-fashioned way. Which it absolutely will. So, we got control of Akkad's military units. A couple warriors, a spearman, and an archer. Which I think makes it much less likely that they're going to go to war with me over this territory. I'm going to bring these units around toward the front. Really? Oh yeah, that's right. This is all cliff faces everywhere. It's actually very inconvenient to maneuver in this region. Alright. Well, we're just going to have to wait a second on that. What do we want to build in our new city? You know what? I do, in fact, want to attach this. Oh, man. The new city has kind of a stability problem right now, though. Yeah, because it does already have a bunch of districts out. Am I better off just connecting Tupi to the capital? Ah, it's very expensive to do so because there are so many regions connected here already. I am going to do this. We'll fix the thing. Oh, right. Expansionist stars are earned by connecting territories to cities, so apparently we were just one short of that. Which means we are at 6 stars. We're able to move up into the next era pretty soon. I don't know that we will, but it is on the table. So you know what I would probably like to build here is, yep, the public fountain. Seems like a good idea. Oh, right. Also, pottery workshops. I don't think we didn't build the pottery workshop in either of our other cities, did we? Yeah, this is like a really early building. Let's just go ahead and prioritize that over a lot of what else is going on. It's just more influence. Which, like, you know, is pretty important for a bunch of reasons. And what else do we want to research? Well, I mean, obviously, we're going to need bronze working eventually. What is the next science star? 3 techs away? Okay, so we're going to get this pretty early. We're going to get a lot of fame off of that. We are also definitely going to earn our 3rd agrarian star, and that too is going to be a tremendous amount of fame. Between those two, that's going to catch us up with the people who are in the highest, at the top of the score chart. So you'll notice Pink has been at 7 stars for a while, but they have not moved up into the next era. I presume because they're doing the same thing that we're going to do, they're going to hold off and make sure they get all of the stars that they're close to maximize their fame from Era 1 before they move up and basically lose access to all of the stars they haven't yet got. Not happy to see my opponents doing, like, good, smart work. You know, we do have access to this ambergris as well. So let's put that in the queue. I guess that could go above the fountain. As long as we don't dip below 30%, things aren't going to get really bad, right? I mean, unless we get a little bit unlucky with the events. Yeah, that's fine. So we have access to vision over all of Yellow's territory here. We can see what they are up to. The Nubians, oh, interesting. The Nubians went up to the next era, but didn't choose a new culture. So that's a thing you're allowed to do, and if you do that, you get more fame. You get a fame bonus to, I believe, all fame acquired from all sources during the next era, but of course at the cost of missing out on a legacy trait and the more powerful bonuses from the later cultures. I don't know if that was right or not. They may be very reliant on something that their current culture does. Might explain some of it.
You have something to say?
You know what? I'm going to renounce this. I am not challenging the Hittites over Chalawan, even though we now have another claim to it.
Is done.
And what is this? Is this more trespassing? Oh no, this is more faithful oppressing.
What's done is done.
Yeah, I immediately forgive grievances against Yellow. Yellow and I are our best friends. Alright, so that's going. They are reinforcing the area around this this region in a way that suggests that maybe they intend to fight for it. The Descendant of Kings. A filthy, wretched man has come to your empire, claiming to be a descendant of one of the ancient rulers of Akkad. Without fear, in front of your whole court, he boldly tells you that his people are owed great restitution for the grave offenses you carried out against his ancestors. You know, I've been here the whole time, and I'm pretty sure the only thing we ever did to your ancestors was give them a lot of money. However, he is willing to forego this redress on condition that you fulfill a divine prophecy and let him lead Akkad. Ah, there it is. That's what this is actually about. He promises that fulfilling the prophecy will see riches come to the city, but if you deny him, he promises to bring war or famine to your empire. I don't believe that he has the ability to do those things. So if we give in, if we give restitution to the descendants of the people of Akkad, many of them bravely fight in our armies, and that will make them faster. I guess it's like a morale thing. We can just go ahead and make him the ruler of Akkad, which will make Akkad generate more money but less science for 10 turns. Not a big fan of that. Or, to amuse the court, we can ridicule the man and send him on his way. The capital will celebrate for 15 turns, but there may be consequences. I mean, listen, I don't really know what the political situation is here. We do not have a lot of details. I don't necessarily want to make fun of this dude and then have all of the people who support him in Akkad decide to rebel against us or whatever. But we are not going to allow him to manipulate us this way, so I'm just going to make restitution directly to the descendants of the people of Akkad, bypassing him entirely. Problem solved. I hope. Hard to know, actually. Yeah, so I guess there's no reason for you to just sit here. I am, in fact, going to try to move around and grab this curiosity. It's gonna be a little roundabout, is all. Oh, hey, we're gonna get another one on the way there. You should definitely show up to the border with Brown. Look at the roads. Look at the excellent work these roads are doing. And check this out. So this is a couple of things. First of all, our religious pressure is spreading out into other cities nearby in a way that's pretty helpful. But secondly, this is partially the population of our empire growing very quickly, because almost everybody in our empire is going to get converted to our religion, right? All right, people are buying access to my resources.
What does the mill ask of the grist?
Even more, wow. That's a weird way to put that, dude. I think it was self-effacing. He's the grist in that scenario, right? But still, it's a weird thing to say. Ah, what we discovered was additional bodies. Proper warriors, even. Alright, we're not going to move them for the moment. I'm going to reorganize those armies next turn. And yes, I know people want to buy my stuff. So I'm actually going to have them take up the high ground up here. And at this point, there's not a lot of research left to do. We've kind of outscienced the region, or the era. This is certainly something that compels us to move into the next era quickly, because I don't want to be wasting all of my science output when we work so hard for it. So, I mean, the ideal location for a Confucian school, I guess, in this region is technically here, but there's no way we're going to build enough districts to get all the way around there, right? We can just put it down here, and that's fine. Six science is totally acceptable. And then in this region, obviously, we do want to put down another one. It would be... Oh, right, there's science on the tiles around here. Yeah, okay, I'll just put it down right here instead of waiting to build to there, because I really don't think we want to hang around in this era for too long. So now we're at 44 influence per turn. We're going to get that star very soon. We're going to get this star next turn. We're going to get this star very shortly afterward because we're building tons of districts. Yeah, we're going to get a great big fame boost here. The Harapans moved up to the second era. People are finding luxury resources, or rather, natural wonders. We got 2 stars at the same time, and we're up to 1204. Wow. Wow, what did pink do? So, what we're probably seeing here in pink's score is they were doing the same thing we're about to do, where they had like 3 or 4 stars that they were really close to. They angled for those, and then as soon as they got those, they jumped into the second era. So I'm hoping that our score is going to jump up in nearly as impressive a way. It's like, we'll get this in a turn or 2. We'll get this in a turn or 2. We need 2 population. How fast is our growth here? 20 turns off there, 7 turns off there. Ooh, maybe this isn't going to be quite as straightforward as I had hoped. We do just need more people working on food. We do have Rastaban. Rastaban is actually over its population limit. I didn't even realize that that was a thing that could happen. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Oh, and also, we've passed the follower threshold for new religious tenets. So we can see pink has already picked up another... they were the Harapans. Okay, that's interesting. I don't remember what the Harapans do. I mean, we played the Harapans in the very, very first beta stage. And as I remember it, they were like a lot of food and growth related stuff. But they've probably gone through a bunch of changes, as all of the cultures have. So who knows now. But so they took this before we could get it, which is a shame because that one's pretty good. What else do we have access to here? Shoe Gluttony, +5 money on luxury resource deposits. This would be a lot of money for us. Be in harmony with nature, +2. Oh boy. I'm assuming that that is +2 stability for each river tile, not for each like river as a concept, which means that it seems pretty bananas. +1 influence on mountain. We certainly have a number of mountains. Bonus XP when you create military units, and they have lowered upkeep. That's pretty good. Food on coastal waters and lakes is definitely less exciting for us. We're really not in a good position to take advantage of that. Industry from forests and woodlands. And then bonus war support when winning a battle or when an opponent retreats from a battle. I mean, there's a pretty obvious strategy that plays with. I'm definitely thinking about eschew gluttony. How many forest and woodland tiles do we actually have? So a lot of this stuff is just like prairie. It's a little hard to tell. Once something has become exploitation, it's a little hard to tell if there were enough trees on it before. That's a rocky field. We have a lot of rocky field. These are definitely forests over here, woodlands and whatnot. So this area would gain a bunch of industry, which goes right back to the capital. We definitely have trees over here as well. So yeah, that's not bad, actually. Abstain from intoxicants. Avoid the false peddlers who addle the body and mind with poisonous substances, and instead spend all of that time chopping wood. I think actually we're going to take this. So every time our religion gains a new tenet, we will also gain a bonus to our maximum number of holy sites. We still have not built the one holy site that we were already entitled to, so obviously I'm not too concerned about that. The next level tenets, are these as interesting? Plus science on research quarters. Okay, so it buffs up particular types of districts, it seems like. Plus 5 food on harbor, not on farmer's quarter. Interesting. Well, 65 followers is still pretty far away. We don't need to be too worried about that. That's going to flip over in 3. Yep, it's true. I did do that. So we're going to complete another district this turn, which is going to give us that star. Wait, do I have the ability to build another Confucian school? Oh, right. Yeah, there's not one up here yet. Well, we should definitely do that then. Science and stability, for sure. I believe that we can move up to the next era with the Confucian schools in the build queue, and they'll still get finished. It's just that we won't be able to in-queue anymore after that. All right, here we're going to separate out a scout. Interesting. So we were able to scale that cliff there. Is it because they have buildings both on the top and the bottom of the cliff, so these tiles connect in that way? Or I'm not 100% sure why. It's probably because of the logistical improvements being made to the area. Okay, yeah, so just stand here and look impressive. And like I said, we are going to stick around. There are 3 real easy stars for us to pick up. At the rate of gain of influence, it's probably still not worth it to stick around and get the next aesthete star. Probably not. And we might want to refocus our cities on food a little bit. If I pull everybody onto food here, okay, we can get a population in 3 turns. Here in 7, here in 15. Ugh. Boy, I don't know if I want to be in this this era for 7 more turns. But because that agrarian star is the 3rd star, it is worth so much. Yeah, it's hard to imagine not getting that. All right, we'll sit for it, and we'll just end up with a slightly reduced selection of cultures in the next era. All right, we got that builder star. People are moving up. Rastaban's population has fallen due to low growth. So it's probably because they were over the population cap, right? Even more grievances are available.
Mighty leader.
Ah, we could try to take that region from them on account of they are oppressing our faithful. There and also in... Wow, our religion has really spread deep into their lands. So the core thing here is that because we're polytheistic, the capital is generating a bunch of faith because we attached a bunch of regions to it. I'm surprised at how powerful this is. It is probably the case that none of the AI are focusing very hard on their religion, except maybe the Hittites, who seem to have stopped our spread. That region's going to convert religiously and culturally in 2 turns, so they are going to be giving it to us. Should I pressure them now? We are reading as more powerful than them. I probably have, I have way more military stuff in the neighborhood of this region. So if we demand a sewer and they refuse, or we demand the region north of Assur, and they refuse, we'll be at war with them. We can pounce on them immediately right here, and we can just take this region immediately because we have a big army next to it. Let's go ahead and push our luck after we resolve this event. A troubling truth has emerged regarding the great stable megalopolis of Akkad. Many servants from the city's palace have been castrated at the command of the local ruler. These eunuchs are believed to be more loyal, and they are said to play a number of roles from courtier to singer to guard. What is your view on this matter? So I remember this event from the beta, and I feel like It's a little bit of a bummer because we don't really have the information that is necessary to make this decision, because we don't know whether these people accepted their castration for any reason. Like, if they're cool with it, I kind of feel like it's not any of my business. But if the leaders of Akkad are castrating people against their will, then we step in and do something. So if we just accept, we just let them keep doing it, basically nothing happens. We can punish them. So forced labored on 2 cities. I'm assuming this will fire on both of the non-capital cities. We get an industry bonus, but a stability penalty. Or we can adopt the practice ourselves, which we absolutely are not doing because it screws up our ideological axis. And yeah, also the effect sucks. I'm going to choose to believe that they were castrating these people against their will, and we're going to take what I think is actually a pretty serious benefit here. A little bit of extra influence for our cities, or industry rather, which is way more important. Okay, yeah, let's get aggressive. Hold on. Yellow is...
Our empires are close. I am so pleased to greet you.
Yeah, no, we're good friends. What's going on here? Oh, yeah, renounce. Whatever, it's fine. Listen, you repress my faithful however you want. Oh, right. Once you're in alliance with somebody, it opens up a whole bunch of different treaties as well. What do these do? The buyer is acquitted from any non-essential fees when accessing this empire's resources. I'd be really curious to know what the definition of non-essential fees is. That sounds like a pretty good thing, though. Can we do that? I would like access to your resources, please. Oof, they want all of my money. The thing is, I'm sure this ends up saving us money in total from purchasing their resources, but I really also want to be able to rush buildings in my own territory. I'm gonna refuse that. Plus 5% science on just both empires? That seems pretty good. If we've had a deal refused, we can't offer another deal for 5 turns. A cultural agreement just gives plus 5% influence on both empires. Seems pretty good. And shared logistics allows us to upgrade in each other's territories and share our transport infrastructure. I'm assuming that means that, like, right now we don't benefit from their roads and they don't benefit from ours, but if we did shared logistics, then that would no longer be true. So that one also seems good. They're all good. We're gonna have to come back in 5 turns and strengthen that alliance a little bit. Huh, there was a yellow question mark on them, but I don't know why. All right, let's demand something. So a churd or Wazin. Is Wazin's the territory that their capital is in? Oh no, there's a little dotted line here. So this is their capital territory. This is Wazin. This is the other thing. Well, let's take the one that's actually connected to my territory. Or at least let's try. You have oppressed the faithful in Achurd for long enough.
It's only right you offer recompense for your actions.
All right, violence has temporarily halted our sale here. So, the demand is up. They don't have to do anything, but the existence of this demand is going to generate 3 war support for us every single turn. And declaring a proper war requires a certain amount of war support. Okay. It says cannot be done without 0 war support, but I know this is one of the bugs that they told me is in this build and is already corrected for release. That is supposed to say 80. We can surprise war them, but that's not the kind of thing that the other nations of the world will like. We will gain a mark of being a traitor, and I'm not interested in that. But if they let us get above 80 war support, then we can just war them properly. And I think that's how this is gonna go. They have precious little time to accede to my demands here. Y'all stay right where you are. I suspect you are going to be needed in this area presently. Oh, hey, look. That's pretty good news, because that means now we only have to gain 1 more point of population, right? I think this will recalculate at the beginning of the next turn. So yeah, just, oh my god. All right, go this way. Stupid. This giant cliff that stretches all the way across that territory is such a pain. All right, let's push on a couple more turns here. Oh, right, wonders. I forgot. Okay, yeah, so it did count the unit that we gained from that curiosity. So next turn, when a person is born in the capital, we'll get that third agrarian star, and then we will probably move up to the next era. So I forgot about this, but you can build Wonders of the World if you get enough influence banked. You can purchase basically like the idea for a Wonder of the World and then build it somewhere in your empire for some great effect. So if we take the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, 20 stability, 100 fame, extracts any luxury resource from the deposit it's built on. Stonehenge, and you can see they are districts that give all full resource exploitation. Stonehenge gives faith, bonus food, and stability per co-religionist state. So that's not going to be terribly effective for us, right? Because co-religionist state would be other states that have your religion, not states where you have their religion in addition to your own, right? Probably. On capital, plus 5% food on the capital of empires that are following your religion, plus 5 stability on the capitals that are following your religion. Interesting. So a bonus 20 faith obviously is a big deal. Just building any of these is going to be worth 100 fame, which probably makes it worth it right there. Plus health regeneration on our units. Your units ignore movement penalties from forest is pretty cool. This counts is considered a holy site, but does not count toward your holy site cap. Is relevant because there are some things that will boost the resource output of your holy sites in various ways. I kind of like this one. Rapidly regenerating units, good faith output so that we can continue pushing our religion over the entire landmass. Obviously, what we could do with our faith instead, or our influence instead, is just actually put down outposts and claim the rest of this territory for our own, but I suspect that we have time on that since we're going to repel Brown. And I think that I do, in fact, want, I think I want this. So it's going to cost us 250 influence, but then nobody else will be able to take it. Yeah, let's do it. And we must actually construct that before we can claim another wonder.
You should listen to this.
Green would like to share maps.
Beyond my prejudices.
I think that's actually valuable to us. Yeah, I'm into that.
We must.
This is
Apparently,
fantastic.
Impressive,
Fantastic.
intriguing, profound even.
hold on a second. Okay, so we get science for discovering a natural wonder, even if we're not the first person to find it. We just don't get the fame from the competitive deed to be the first person to find it. That's pretty cool. I'm glad we did that then. You know what? Actually, are you slightly injured? No, it looks like there's a little dark space at the end of the bar here and there. But yeah, okay, you can just stay right here for another turn, I think. So on this coming turn is when we'll be able to make the demands for that region. And we will see how they respond.
Independent people.
Oh,
And who are they? Time will tell if they are helpful, helpless, or history.
did we meet a new independent people? Okay, we did get our whales. We must have seen a military unit that belongs to a new people. Oh yeah, I think the Cassates. Okay, so this region, this is not a gray region that belongs to Dur Kurigalzu. This is a different independent nation. Okay, well that's very inconvenient for Yellow. They're really making it difficult for Yellow to expand. Not my problem, I suppose. All right, let's go ahead and end turn here. So we got our agrarian star. We are ready to move to the next era. And we are going to make some pretty serious demands on Brown here. And also, we're going to get money from our resources. So,
You.
yep,
Your
it's me.
presence darkens my day.
They are still rated as a pushover. Here's the thing. You are definitely oppressing my people. So you must surrender Okab to me immediately.
Don't give up these lands. You leave me no choice.
And
I will
and this one too. Why not?
Pay reparations or face
All right.
grave results.
They're not going to do it, so we're going to do the other thing. At this point, we have enough like publicly registered grievances that all of the people of the world will understand when we totally stomp Brown out of the game next episode. So I think we're going to call it right here for today, and thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, what's going to happen is we're going to pick a new culture, move up into Era 2, get some cool new bonuses and stuff, and then we are going to totally annihilate this guy for daring to not surrender all of his territory to me immediately. And we'll see you then.